Come have a seat and sip some tea. It's tech, entertainment, and art.
Come on down and get some sweet tea.
We're just gonna sip on a cup of sweet tea. Can't drink too fast or you'll get diabetes. Sit down with your pals for a drink and nerdy chat. Or maybe while you exercise so you don't get fat.
That was amazing, bro. That was beautiful.
Welcome to Sweet Tea.
We might make that the actual intro.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna call you.
Okay.
Do you mind if my wife sings that?
Oh, absolutely. That's fine. That's preferable, really.
Did you make that up on the
Okay.
fly, or did you write that ahead of
I
time?
wrote this down 20 minutes ago.
Oh, good.
Dude, you are a talented writer. I've always believed in your skills, bro.
Thank you. If only you had told me, I would have been so more encouraged.
I would have been so fearful.
So welcome to Sweet Tea. And I clap and disturb the audio. The podcast spin-off of Tea Talk, where we just have a nice slow sipping contest of one topic within entertainment and nerddom. And today's topic that we're going to discuss is basically DC entertainment, encompassing DC Comics, DC movies. I don't know if we'll touch on TV shows, because I don't know, do they even have TV shows? I don't know, it might not be a thing. But before we get that squared away, we better...
I hope you're kidding.
we better get looking at who we have in our conversation today. We have an all-new, totally rotating cast of celebrities, including myself, T Swizzle, the Thai guy, and who else we got? Josh, you want to introduce yourself and what tea you're drinking? Because this is still a tea-themed episode, if you hadn't noticed already.
Yes, this is Charles or Josh. I'm having a mint. I don't know what this is. Just a peppermint herbal tea with a lot of honey for flavoring.
And what
Thanks
kind
for
of
having
mug?
me. This is the Rogue One mug from I think it was the Disney store actually. My wife bought me.
Total collector's
Dude.
edition.
Oh my goodness, you just reminded me. I gotta get my Star Wars mug now. I'll get it for the next episode.
Okay.
No one's gonna see it.
I'm just telling you about yourself, your tea, and your mug.
So this is the Puerto Rican Tootsie Roll, Abdiel. You know me from a few different podcasts back in the day. I was one of the hosts in Age of Apocalypse, but today we have TEA Talk. So everyone listening, you probably heard that already. So
That's how you
yeah,
got
I'm here
here.
again, just co-hosting. That's how I got here. That's how I got discovered.
All right. What, did you say what kind of mug you had? And
Oh, that's right. So my mug is a Starbucks mug from Bucharest.
nice.
Bucharest, I believe, is in Romania.
That's exactly right.
And that's right. And the reason why Tyler knows that's exactly right is because Tyler and I went together to Romania.
Yes, that's part of
And
our lore of our podcast.
That's right. So everybody should know that. And that was an amazing trip. And it was right before Tyler and I got married. And Tyler and
Not
I
to
got
each
married
other.
like not to each other, by the way. Wow, why so offended, Tyler? I'm not good enough for you.
Oh boy.
No, no, we got each other separately. We got married separately to our respective wives. I'm just making it worse. Anyway, Tyler and I, how would I say that? We became married to our girlfriends, and our weddings also happened like 1 week from each other.
That's
so
true.
we couldn't go to each other's weddings because of that. But
It's nonsense.
because also we got we both got married literally on opposite sides of the United States. You got married in New York, and I got married in California. So we were pretty far from each other. But anyway, so I'm drinking what's this called? Shy Spice tea on the mug that I just said. So very good. It's straight, no sugar, no anything. Not because I don't like to put things on my tea. It's just that I made it like 30 seconds before the show, and I didn't have time to warm up milk and put sugar on it. But I can drink it straight. It's cool.
Yeah, you're a purist when you want to be, or when
That's
it's
right.
convenient. All right, and Shonda.
The cup is a Starbucks cup, and the tea inside of it is chai tea with sugar and coconut milk.
I don't know if it's the actual cup, the fact of the mug, or the way you hold it in front of the camera. It looks like you could hold a gallon inside of it.
It is a big cup.
It looks like your entire head can fit on that mug from the way that I'm
Almost,
looking
huh?
at it.
You're right. I didn't think about that. My wife and I actually stopped drinking coffee about 4 or 5 months ago, and we've been drinking tea
Nice.
ever since.
And do you drink coffee at all, or not anymore, like at all?
I
When you
have
stopped
nothing
working.
against. Yeah, I think I know what you're saying, Abdul. Is like that. Like, do I just avoid at all costs? No, I still will from time to time. Like when we used to go to gatherings, we would drink coffee, but I found it was giving me acid reflux. I guess I'm getting older or something, but it would I'd constantly be clearing my throat when I drink it.
Coffee is acidic. Well, I actually have not drank coffee in like 2 weeks, or maybe more. Actually, like 3 weeks since we started the show. I've been drinking tea, and that's because all my Nespresso cartridges ran out, so I can't do that anymore.
Well, Nespresso's not coffee anyway, so you're good.
What?
Nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, and just to reiterate, I have my
Is that Dunder Mifflin?
Brooklyn Roasting Company.
Oh, nice.
And
yeah,
on the other
I thought it was
side,
Dunder Mifflin too.
I got mugged in Brooklyn, it says.
Oh.
I think my wife got this one. And I have a Tiger Spice something tea, Bengal Spice, being told. And it's non-caffeinated because where I'm at, it's the middle of the night. That's not true. 6 p.m. But that's my bedtime. Anywho, let's get into our show today. Again, today's show brought to you by T-Talk, TEA Talk, the greatest podcast ever made. And the subject, as we already mentioned, is DC, which stands for Detective Comics. At least, I don't know if it still stands for that, but that's how it was originally named.
That's right.
Company that is currently owned by Warner Brothers. Just as we look back at the history briefly of the companies/subsidiaries and whatever, the comics started, I guess the company was made in 1934, started producing comics in 1935. Not long after that, they started doing superhero comics in particular. As far as movies go, the first about our feature films, the first live action film was in 1951. It was called Superman and the Mole Men. It was live action. It was in black and white, and I should probably find some archival footage of that.
No, I don't know anything about that movie.
This is the first
that
I've heard of it.
movie... Oh, okay.
They had many other ones too. Yeah. Okay. The first animated film was
So question.
Uh-huh.
Is there any way that people can get their hands on that that movie, the whole thing?
the whole thing. I mean, it's from 1951, so I would almost think that is it past copyright laws at this point? It's probably.
That's what I was wondering, is it public domain? But
maybe.
I don't think so. I think it's
No.
isn't it 70 something years. I'd have to
Okay.
look it up.
So
Okay, anyway.
you could probably find it in whole or in parts on YouTube anyways. And if they only had a 5-minute clip, that may be all you could stand anyways. But
Yeah.
the first, just going on to other films though, the first animated film was Mask of the Phantasm, in 1993.
That is so crazy to me. When I saw that, I watched that. I remember going to. There was like a little. Did I derail you, Tyler? I'm sorry.
No, it's good.
There was like a little place to rent movies in our town,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd asked my dad to get that movie like every week, and I probably watched that movie every single weekend from like 9 to like 12 years old.
And what's that movie about?
It's
I
about Batman.
vaguely remember it.
You saw it a lot more than I did, Sean. Do you have any like gist of it?
It's basically like it's Batman.
Oh, okay,
That's
Yeah.
true.
makes sense.
I probably should.
Okay, that's all I need to know.
That. Yeah. Was it actually tied to the animated series of the time, or was it like
It was the
kinda
same
similar,
actors.
but-
The
Uh-huh.
voice actors were the same. You had Mark Hamill as Joker, and yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, it was pretty much the same artistry and all that stuff.
Yeah. That's cool. Hear a little bit about coffee making you clear your throat. I'm finding that about the tea right now, so I don't know. Apologize for the audio. So yeah, and clearly they were doing animation a long time before that. There's been plenty of series. I think there's a video essay online about the first Superman cartoon that they did using a certain type of video, whatever, sculpting. I just threw that in there.
Are you talking about the really good one where in the beginning he would jump the building and
Yeah.
people are like, okay, so that's actually really, really good animation
Yeah.
that happened during that time.
Like, it went downhill from there for like 30 years. Just
It went
because of
downhill, yeah.
Was it rotoscoping? Is that the word?
Yeah, they were doing rotoscoping, some rotoscoping. So
What does that mean?
It was It meant that for reference, actually because it's rotoscoping, it's more than a reference. Usually, an animator will have someone, either themselves or an actor, do a scene, and they will base their animation based on what that actor is doing or based on what they're doing. Rotoscoping goes a little bit more where they'll actually draw. They'll get the footage of the actor and they'll draw over him. There are different forms of rotoscoping. If you Google rotoscoping animation, you'll find different styles, but I believe that's what they did with Superman. So one of the very interesting details about that is that they were able to get a lot of very realistic animation because they were using that style. Like I can remember clearly. There's one scene where Superman like kind of lands on a building and then he uses he kind of leans with 1 foot on a wall of the building to just kind of like get his balance, and then he jumps out again.
In a
And it
different
looks
direction,
great.
right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And they were able to get that kind of that realistic animation because they were using this method of rotoscoping, and they had like a person that was doing this thing. So
Do you know how they like did the jumping of the building and stuff? Like I mean, obviously, like a human didn't.
no, well, a lot of it you're not gonna get a reference, a very specific reference of everything. What happens even today is that you'll have probably a person just jumping over, I don't know, like a regular box, and they'll take some of the person's movement, maybe the way that he crouched first to jump, and so some of it they'll do it just as the person did it, but other things they'll have to like use their imagination and exaggerate a little bit and add to it. Yeah. So anyway, that's a very good show. Very, very good show. State of the art.
Yeah, I'll send you a link. Actually, I'll send it to you right now in our video chat, and then you guys can watch it or do whatever you want with it, and you can add it to the show notes if you like. But now that I've mentioned it, they'll be disappointed if they don't see it in the show notes.
We'll definitely put it in the show notes.
Oh,
in the
right.
description on the YouTube. Yeah.
So clearly they've been doing movies, both live action and animation and television shows for a long, long time with DC Comics related properties. So I wanted to ask you guys, just first, as far as the history going back, don't talk about anything from Man of Steel in 2013 forward. But prior to 2013, what was your favorite movie, TV show? Let's go on that. Just as far as like this media goes. do you have a favorite movie and or TV show? You can mention one or the other, just in a couple minutes. Sean, you want to go first? DC Comics.
Man, I wasn't prepared for the prior to 2013.
Boom.
Yeah.
I can go first if Sean wants to think a little
Yeah,
bit.
It leaves Christopher Nolan wide open. Abdi, you go first.
Let's go first. Yeah.
So without mentioning the Christopher Nolan movies, which I think that's obvious, right? I really like Young Justice. I'm totally messing that up. Young Justice. That came before Man of Steel?
Yeah.
Did that came out before Man of
They
Steel?
had like a couple years between seasons, even like several years between seasons 2 and 3, I think so. That's been around a while.
Young Justice was really good, and I think also Justice League Unlimited was really good. I really enjoyed those shows. Do you want me to mention like specific things that I liked about those shows?
Yeah, you can be brief enough about it.
So, Young Justice, even though it was like a young adult show, it had a lot of mature themes that were interesting because they gave the characters some weight, and the characters' decisions some weight. They actually kill off one of the characters that towards the end. I'm not gonna say who it is, but he's one of the main ones. And another character, like on one season, these two characters, Red Arrow and some other chick, I forget who her name is. They have like a relationship, and then on season 3, there's like a gap between season 2, and then on season 3, that it turns out that he actually had a kid with that love interest, and then now she's taking care of the kid, but she's also like a superhero. So she's a superhero that's taking care of a baby, and it's Red Arrow's baby, and I'm like, whoa! I was not prepared for Cartoon Network to show me this. So that was very interesting. They took things pretty far.
Yeah.
I believe. And then Justice League Unlimited just had a lot of really cool arcs. I haven't seen it in a long time, and honestly, I kind of forgot about some of them.
And they brought in a
which
ton
is
of heroes
embarrassing.
on that show, right? Like it was
They
a
did.
vast amount of characters.
Yeah. But they have the one thing that I'll mention, because I remember this clearly. They have the Aquaman that is bearded and has long hair, and that's the Aquaman that Jason Momoa Aquaman it's based off. And in it's really cool that episode where he comes in and it's really, really interesting. He actually loses his arm on that episode. He has to cut off his own arm in order to save his child. I believe it's his child. I think so. It was a baby. I believe it was his baby. But anyway, so and then from then on, he has, instead of a hand, he has a hook. So that was the first time they really tried to make Aquaman cool. Well, on the cartoon, but also on the comic book that cartoon is based off, because that Aquaman actually first appeared in a cartoon, that type of Aquaman. And they did a lot of things to make him more mature, more cool. Like they gave him a beard, they gave him long hair, and they gave him a hook for a hand, just in case the beard didn't do it. Now you really know he has some, tragic history behind him. Anyway, but that Aquaman was pretty cool. So that's one thing that they showed in that series that I really liked.
Good deal. I'm gonna just add that I realize now that I was muting myself in our video chat whenever I would clear my throat the last 3 minutes, but I'm pretty sure my mic was picking it up the whole time anyway on the computer. Gonna have to take that out and
Don't
post
worry.
edit.
We'll edit that out.
Good deal. The 18.5 minute mark was about when I stopped making a fool of myself over audio. So Sean, you have any thoughts now on DC stuff from before 2013?
As I was kind of thinking about it, I guess I should have instantly picked the Batman animated series. It kind of led to what we have, not today, but what could have been. That series, as far as animation, is probably the standard, I would say, for storytelling and as far as the DC universe is concerned, the actors who were picked, and going back to the Phantasm thing, that movie, that actually the series does never reveals Joker's origin, and it kind of alludes to it in that cartoon Mask of the Phantasm. There's like Bruce Wayne kind of figures out, or Batman figures out, like some like connection between like the mob or the mafia and like the Joker. And I think like a lot of this was like source material for what kind of became Christopher Nolan's movies.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah.
Good deal. And Gibbs, any thoughts on?
Sean said Batman the Animated Series, which I was also thinking. I'll just give a quick shout out. I love that they used a film noir kind of aesthetic for a young adult, I guess, television series. I still love film noir movies from the 40s and things, just because growing up I loved that Batman character. I love those storylines. And as you get older, they stick with you because there's substance to them. The writers are really good. I mean, Kevin Conroy had the perfect voice for Batman.
Can you watch a show without him being Batman? Like if you see a card, it's like hard to do it.
It does not sound right at all. It is not right at all. But I think also me and my dad watched a lot of the old Superman movies. I think it was Superman up to 4.
Mm-hmm.
I can't. Was that Christopher Reeves?
Yeah.
Play that. I really enjoyed those movies as a kid. They don't hold up so great today, but it was that DC previously to their 2013. I'm glad you mentioned. They never tried to shoehorn their characters into these places that they would fit perfectly, except for Justice League, which of course is another great animated show. But they were always given a lot of liberal freedom for their story writing. I remember the Batman animated series was kind of a villain of the week thing, kind of like a Star Trek show. But it was awesome. I loved everything about them. I grew up with them being my favorite.
Do you guys remember when that show first started airing?
Which one?
Animated series?
Batman the Animated Series?
My birth year, 92.
I was going to guess 92.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was born in 91, so I was 1 year old when
Yeah.
that show started coming out.
And amazing that you remember everything about it.
Right? Right?
Your parents
Really
just
good
plopped you in
memory.
front of the TV.
Really good memory I have.
Yeah, so I totally agree with Abdiel that Young Justice, oh my goodness, that was my jam right there. And of course, Christopher Nolan movies were excellent. I think that I honestly loved all 3 of them. Yes, obviously there are things that The Dark Knight did that was better than than Batman Begins before it, and there are things that slightly, were a little kind of funny or dropped off a tiny bit in Dark Knight Rises. But just overall, what a great 3 film series. And I think it still holds up. Secret pleasure, though, is Batman Forever, the 3rd one. Before it really went off the rails with George Clooney and Arnold Schwarzenegger in the 4th movie.
Oh.
Man, I just
That was Nicole Kidman and
Val Kilmer Batman, and with Jim Carrey was the Joker.
Yeah, Jim Carrey.
Tommy Lee Jones
Tommy
was.
Lee. That was great.
Oh, Jim Carrey was the Riddler.
Who
Oh yeah,
who
yeah, he was
directed
the Riddler.
And those
Who
were
directed that movie?
Joel Schumacher, right?
Okay.
Because Tim Burton was the first 2.
Okay. That was what I was wondering. if it
Tim
was
Burton
Tim
splatted himself all over those first 2 films.
I haven't seen those movies.
That went really dark in number 2.
Yeah.
Ever since the Christopher Nolan movies, I have not seen the old Batman movies. I should try and go back and see one of those, I guess.
Yeah, you might find that you might lose a little bit of interest.
Honestly, the first Batman was it 1989 or 81 or
I think it
something
was
like that.
89.
It's an okay movie. I mean, it's actually pretty good, and it holds up fine. The second one.
Oh, sorry.
No, the second one is it's god awful. I mean, I had a hard time watching the Penguin one. And the third one's pretty good. George Clooney, I liked it when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Don't watch it. Don't watch it.
Oh, and the third one was where they brought in Chris O'Donnell, right, as the
Yeah,
Robin,
yeah.
and it was
Oh,
and it was
yes.
just it wasn't as bad of using him as the one after that was.
Yeah, when they
'Cause then
brought
they
in
also-
the ice skates in the fourth one and
And the bat
nipples on the
nipples.
armor. Oh my gosh.
But you know, Joker in the first one has like this dance
Uh-huh.
routine that Prince choreographed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if you go back and watch, it's like it doesn't. You could tell like there's this period between like the late '80s and probably late '90s, like where this like these movies for some reason like I don't know why they just always wanted like theatrical elements to it.
Right. So it's enjoyable going down memory lane. Now, as far as a little more fresh in mind memory lane, the current movie universe since 2013 has gone as follows. Basically, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 movies in universe and 1 not. So we have 2013's Man of Steel, 2016 Batman v Superman, 2016 Suicide Squad, 2017 Wonder Woman, 2017 Justice League, 2018 Aquaman, 2019 Shazam, and 2020 Birds of Prey. That just most recently came out and did not do well, might add. Also, back in 2019, though, is when the Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix came out, but it's not considered a part of the shared movie universe. So, of those movies, what do we agree would be like 1 or 2 that were like really good, the best of the best? Just shout it out. What do you think? Good movies. Yeah.
Good movies.
Is this a joke?
Probably the only good movie in my opinion. And we're talking about good.
Yeah.
We're not.
I'm
talking
not
about
saying
great.
any of these are going to be
Yeah, just
cult
okay.
classics.
All right.
Get your terms.
One thumb up.
Get your terms right. I would say the only good movie of all the movies that you just said, there were 2, Man of Steel, and Wonder Woman.
I will
Except
agree
for the
with you
third
with
act.
that, but
And it's
specifically, and what held both of them back was the same thing. I think it was the last part of the movie. I feel like Man of Steel and Wonder Woman, they both had this awesome build-up, and then in the final ridiculous boss battle, it all fell apart.
Yeah, it's funny how you say boss battle
Yeah.
because that's exactly how it felt. It felt, video games. Whatever video game you play, there's always like this pressure for the last boss. It's supposed to be like this epic moment, which even in video games, I don't think it has to be. You can just end the story in a satisfying way. But that's how both of these movies felt. They wanted to make that final battle big and a lot of put in a lot of special effects and whatever. In the case of of Man of Steel, I actually don't mind that final battle too much. I think the special effects were pretty good. For Wonder Woman, though, that looked like a PlayStation 2 era
Bad
final
guy with a mustache.
boss battle. It was the special effects, in my opinion, were so bad. I don't know. Maybe they ran out of budget.
It could be
or something.
Abdul because she was pregnant.
Because she was
Just
pregnant. The special
blurry.
effects were bad.
No, but I mean, she had like a green screen wrapped around her already, and they
Oh,
probably
okay,
were
well,
limited on what movements she could do. So I'm guessing. I don't know. I just know that like I did watch it like behind the scenes, and like it was very limiting on what
I've
she
heard it-
could and couldn't do.
Maybe.
We-
It's the same thing with Justice League. They had that mustache, and they
Oh,
had to
gosh.
like special effect the mustache out, and they did a terrible job at that
Oh,
too.
so bad.
Poor DC movies. Honestly, like it was just bad timing, I guess,
Yeah.
on certain aspects.
When Man of Steel first came out, we hadn't been subjected to all the awfulness that has been the DCEU, and I didn't mind the ending that much, honestly. Like at the time, it seemed perfectly serviceable. It was fine. Having the little battle in Smallville was kind of interesting, and it was okay. But as time goes on, you see that they've done the exact same thing over and over and over. That's when it's gotten terrible.
I'll be honest. I haven't seen most of these movies.
Yeah, I stopped after Wonder Woman. I was like, I
So you
can't
didn't
watch
see Aquaman.
I haven't seen Suicide Squad. I haven't
No,
seen
I
Aquaman,
couldn't.
which is Birds of Prey, Justice League.
Oh my goodness! I actually forgot about that movie, which says something about it. But I actually do really like Aquaman.
It was
and
decent.
I actually own it on DVD. I can't believe I forgot about it. It was definitely on the good side. It is my favorite of all of the movies. I don't know why I forgot about it.
Is it just because you like the comics though? So it's nice to see them like on the big screen.
So it's because I like the comics. That's my favorite DC comic. But I thought it was cool. I thought that I was pleasantly surprised by a lot of the choreography in the movie. Some of the scenes, the special effects I thought were pretty good. The moments where there's a scene just 30 seconds. There's a scene in the beginning where the main bad guy is having a meeting with other bad guys that are not that bad, but they're all in cahoots, and they're having this meeting in the bottom of the ocean. And as they're having the meeting, a submarine attacks them. And these are people that they just live in the bottom of the ocean, right? They're just like, they're not mermaids because they have legs and everything, but they can breathe underwater. They're people from Atlantis. And so the submarine comes and it's gonna kill them, and it's just like shooting them with like torpedoes and stuff. And the main bad guy, he kind of like jumps from wherever he's standing, and he gets on his water beast, which is like this
That's where you lost Gibbs.
sort of blue whale kind of. It's like a blue whale monster kind of thing, and he gets on it with his trident, and he goes towards the submarine, and he like stabs the submarine with his trident. And as he's stabbing the submarine, no, but he stabs it on the side, and then the beast is still going, so he's like, while the trident is stabbed, he's just like slashing the submarine,
Slashing the submarine.
and in the end, it just destroys the submarine. I thought that was so good, and that's the entire movie. That's why the entire movie is so good. If you heard that and you thought, I don't know, I don't really want to see that,
underwater.
then you're not gonna like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was over the top. But I enjoyed it a lot.
No.
Well,
go ahead, Sean.
Oh, sorry, Tyler. Do you remember in episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, where like Padme tells Anakin, "You're going to a place that I can't follow"?
Uh-huh.
I feel that way with DC. Like they're either like super dark and gory. I'm like the family friendly guy, and for the most part, Marvel movies have stayed in that realm of like, I could probably take I don't have a kid, but if I had a young kid, he probably wouldn't have nightmares from this movie, more than likely. But I feel like DC, like I jumped off after Batman vs Superman, and I haven't got back.
And
on since.
that was kind of the dark dip, I think.
Yeah,
too.
I agree with that.
Some of them have been Aquaman and Shazam and Justice League were all way lighter movies. I think that was the direction that they felt like they had to go in because Marvel was doing so well and DC was going down the toilet. So you may find that's a little different, but you're still going to find that they're not well-made movies with good dialogue, acting, directing, special effects.
Yeah, but Sean is right that you don't really know what to expect when you go to see one of these movies. And anything can happen. So, some of them, like Aquaman, for example, is definitely a family movie. It's a cartoon.
Really good
animation. It's a
animation.
cartoon. If you know, exactly from what I just described, it's for children for sure. But you with DC, you really don't know what to expect in terms of quality and also in terms of content.
So with not knowing what to expect, we have our last few minutes then. Talk about the future of the DC movies. This year, the only one coming out this year yet is Wonder Woman 1984. It was set to come out in June, but then because of COVID-19, it was pushed back to August 14th. It wouldn't surprise me at all if it got pushed back even more, but that's fine because their next movie isn't until June of 2021, so they can keep pushing things back. We'll be okay. But Wonder Woman 1984, same director, same stars, plus Kristen Wiig playing a furry woman.
What's the name of her character?
What's it called? The cheetah. I was going to say the cougar, but
is
that
it
probably
cheetah?
would also be applicable.
Cheetah, yeah.
So at some point, And in the trailer, she looks like a perfectly fine human being. But I guess eventually she'll be
I should think
mutated
so.
into.
And then
A
the twist
cheetah
will be
person.
the cheetah was in my personality all along. I don't need no special effects.
Yeah,
If this is an 80s DC movie, it's just her wearing cheetah print all the time until
Yep,
she actually
Probably.
becomes a cheetah.
That's not even a joke.
that's right. Yeah.
So that's gonna happen. We're gonna, it had I like the trailer because of like the flashiness and the music with it, and whether the movie actually lives up to the decentness of that trailer, who knows?
Yeah. We should totally talk about that trailer at some point on our other show, Fresh Brew, because that's one of the best trailers that I've seen in a long time. I've seen that trailer probably like 5 times already, and it gets my blood pumping each time.
So because of time, I just want to run down the rest of the list, and then just talk about one movie to finish off on the future movies in the DCEU. Of course, we have Wonder Woman this year. We have The Batman on June 25th, 2021. The Suicide Squad on August 6th, 2020. The Suicide
Squad.
The Suicide Squad, directed by James Gunn. That'll be interesting. Black Adam in December 22nd, 2021. I'm surprised they didn't call it The Black Adam like everything else that next year. Shazam 2, April 1st, 2022. The Flash, July 1st, 2022. No, I think The Flash will probably just fall into oblivion like it has the last 20 years. And then Aquaman 2, December 16, 2022. So they have a little bit.
Didn't they just fire Ezra Miller?
So
for
I
beating
just heard,
somebody
I don't
up?
know about the fallout from it, but last weekend footage was released of Ezra Miller like choking a woman against a car onto the ground in like Iceland.
Oh wow!
Kind of some sort of weird altercation there that we do not condone. We
Do we know what happened?
They have
Why
not
is he
released.
choking a woman?
He was like, "Oh, you want to fight? You want to fight?"
They haven't released a
yeah,
statement
he's
about it,
just
though.
choking her. He was fighting with her.
It could easily
He's
be
gone, bro. He's gone.
But
He's gone. No, I don't think Warner Brothers.
yeah,
is
but they
gonna
took James Gunn
allow
after
that-
Marvel fired
that,
him.
That
so.
problem.
But that was like something from
Yeah.
2007 that he said stupid.
So yes, it
and he
could be.
apologized
maybe.
for.
I guess.
But it was already like nobody wanted to direct it. It's how many directors quit. Anyways, that's The Flash. Aquaman 2 will be the last one that they have scheduled right now. They think that they may also make The Trench, an Aquaman spin-off. Batgirl. No, I wrote Batgirl twice. I meant to say Supergirl. Green Lantern Corps. New Gods. And then they have like a billion other things in pre-production that they may never make. Who knows? So, what I'd like to talk about, though, is next year's June 25th release of The Batman. Unlike the rest of those movies, which are all considered part of the same movie universe, the characters could potentially interact with one another in other, who knows, team movies or in little cameos in each other. The Batman is specifically kind of a reboot. It's still considered in the DCEU, same movie universe where all these other characters are happening. But it's specifically going back and being a story, not an origin story, they said, but about a young Batman. The director said it will not service other movies, so there will not be other characters showing up in it that are in their own movies. But it's just meant to be a young Batman, specifically emphasizing the detective Batman, and kind of be a noir kind of story.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm very excited for that. I think that the casting for that movie is good. I am definitely on that camp. I forgot.
So
the
it's
name of the
directed
director.
by Matt
guys know.
Reeves.
Robert Pattinson.
And the main Robert Pattinson.
Robert
is the-
Pattinson. Your
Pattinson.
father
Robert
me
Pattinson.
lobster.
I think he looks great for a young Batman, just as Ben Affleck looked great for an old Batman. I don't know about.
Sorry, Abiel.
No, yeah, go ahead, please.
So like, is this because Ben Affleck got really fat and couldn't stay in shape for the
I
rest
think
of the
it was
movies?
because
Is
of
that
his alcoholism, actually.
He
why?
Yeah, he went to
Oh.
rehab for his
Repeatedly.
alcoholism.
Okay.
Yeah. Real quick though, there's a 30-second ad for a video game called
Okay.
Dark Knight Origins, and it's about the 30-second ad. It's about young Batman. You should totally check it out on YouTube. This is a
Okay.
recommendation, not recommendation. It's only gonna be 30 seconds of your lives, and it's just like a quick snippet of Bruce Wayne growing up until he becomes Batman, and it's like the most
Let me
emotional
guess,
30
it's
seconds
beads falling to the ground again.
that you'll ever see.
A rose,
They're on the
No,
Getting
no,
breakdown
it's
covered.
really cool.
concrete.
Every once in a while, I'll look at it just to get my blood pumping a little bit.
Is this the trailer for the Batman Origins game that's connected to all the other Arkham games?
Yeah. They had a
okay.
they had a 30-second TV ad for it that it's an animation that was just made for those 30 seconds
Right.
for I think it was for the Super Bowl or something, and it was really good, like really really good storytelling in 30 seconds.
It's the only Arkham game I haven't got my hands on. I always wondered.
I really like it a lot, even though it gets criticized a lot. But yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I like of the Arkham games, the detective
all right.
was really emphasized. You had to find clues and stuff.
Yeah, it was
that was
awesome.
more exciting
Yeah.
than just action.
Mm-hmm.
So, good deal.
Yeah.
Is anybody have any final comments on what they actually look forward to in DC movies in the future? Is there something you want to see do really well?
Till everybody in this system gets fired, and then they hire all new people to make their
It's going
movies.
to be.
So I noticed there's no
That's true.
Superman.
They haven't officially fired
dead?
Henry Cavill, and he keeps saying that he wants to do another movie. But it's not. It's on nobody's fast track, and so everybody assumes that he's kind of done.
Yeah.
There's also no team movies planned.
Interesting.
Thank the Lord, because honestly, that Justice League movie was like one of the worst things I've ever seen. And they I think it was Zack Snyder got out halfway, and they hired what's his face from Avengers to direct.
Oh my goodness, what's his face?
How'd I forget his name?
Not John
How did I
Favreau.
forget? No.
From the first
I-
Avengers.
He
Oh,
he also made a Firefly.
Yeah.
And he wrote the X-Men
How do we
comic
forget
book
his
for a long
name?
time. I can't
This is
remember.
awful. Anyway,
Yeah.
he had a storyline of like a Russian family running.
Joss Whedon.
Joss Whedon, yeah. Joss Whedon.
Oh my goodness, it was gonna
Russian
kill me if
family.
I didn't.
Running from the attack of whatever they're fighting, and it just even Joss Whedon could not save this film. It was so terrible.
Well, Joss Whedon also couldn't save Avengers 2, so.
Yeah, but his
We
fingerprint
just keep
was on
hoping
it a
that
little bit.
he's gonna make something as awesome as Firefly again.
Okay,
Just hope
for
he
the
comes
last
back.
minute. For the last minute, Tyler, what are you looking forward to the most? Do you say?
I have a soft spot for Green Lantern in my heart, but it's never been done well in live action. So I hope that does well if they ever make that movie.
Yeah.
As far as actual movies in the future, I hope Wonder Woman and Batman, the only ones that we know are going to be made, do okay, I guess. Hope to be entertained by them in a $5 theater.
Yeah. We maybe after we record this, we got to talk about what you thought of Green Lantern Earth 2.
Okay. Good deal.
I really,
Yeah.
really love that comic book. We actually didn't get to talk about our favorite comic
whole
books.
nother
I guess we
topic.
should
Yeah, I
save that
specifically
for
skipped
another
it.
episode.
On that
Yeah,
topic.
so-
All right. Well, thank you for coming. It's been a real pleasure. Does anyone want to play us out on this DC centric episode? Little song about Batman or something.
Abdel. Okay. See you, everybody.
Until next time.
Thank you for
Bye.
joining us.
See you guys.
Toodles.
This has been Sweet Tea, a Tea Talk Plus podcast, hosted and written by Tyler. Tea Talk Plus, Sweet Tea, is a product of Tea Talk Productions. If you like what you heard, like and subscribe, and please consider supporting the show on Patreon. Link is in the description below. For questions, corrections, requests, and ideas, please email us at teatalkproductions@gmail.com. You can also use the DM service on Patreon, or the YouTube comment section. We're available on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Google Play Music, SoundCloud, YouTube, and Patreon. Thank you and goodbye.
We're sad to